Good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday, about 8:30 a.m. here on the East Coast of the US. Just wanted to show you guys a quick preview of our gains like I do in every public video, just so you guys can see what this community is all about. Again, there's, a couple of hundred people that we have in our free lounge group and maybe 50 to 60 members that we have in our paid community. And even in our free lounge, folks, even if you come join Cryptosomniac free lounge, that's this community discussion channel right here, I'll put out a free trade now and then. Okay, just so you guys are engaged, you also see exactly what our skills and abilities are. Okay, so it's not just always pay to play. It's that I do want to engage the free lounge, but I've been told that when you're good at something, always make sure you're getting paid for it, right? So there's nothing wrong with us having a Cryptosomniac paid side that has all the information, almost 95% of the information that put out trades and private analysis and, different education channels and stock market chat. So we provide a ton of different services along with obviously just having the engagement, right? Just being able to put out all these updates for our community members every single day, day in and day out. I do videos 2 times a day now, just so people from our Asian audience and African audience and Australian continent, they get to see exactly what's going on in Bitcoin while they're waking up. Okay, so you can see these night updates every single day that I put up these night updates. Okay, this was the morning one, this was the night before. Wait, can't tell anymore. That's the morning one. Where's the night one? Anyway, I've been doing these videos for quite a while now. There you go, night updates. So I've been doing these videos for quite a while now, and I like doing the night updates because they're short and simple, and you get to see exactly. You can see the night updates right there, right? You can see exactly what's going on in Bitcoin while the other time zones are just waking up. So if you are from the non-North American time zones, you see exactly what I'm looking at by the end of the night. Okay, and you can trade off that if you want, right? All right, so let's get to the analysis. Today's analysis is going to be short and sweet. On the 1-hour chart, okay, yesterday we actually saw this movement right here about to break out to the upside. And I mentioned this yesterday in my video as well. This is called a bullish checkmate pattern. Okay, this right here. Typically what happens is there's a forceful sell-off and then a big sideways range where the low right here does not get touched again, and you create a higher low in this sideways range, and then you just take off. Okay, that's kind of what I was seeing in this movement right here. We put in a low, this is a higher low, and this is really that sideways movement after this sell-off that happened. So for the most part, I was expecting a movement back up to 84.50, but my other target was also 83.77, and you can see that target hit dead on, and then we sold off again. Okay, if you don't believe me, you can go over here. You can see my the entry right there. As you can see, that candle that I was talking about, it was right there, 82.85 or so, and I got in right at that entry, put a stop 81.90, had my target set about 84.25, but then I sold right around 83.50 and then 83.62, which were again right around this particular area, this cluster of candles right here. Okay, so once we sold off, I let go, and now I'm sort of looking for either re-entries in longs or re-entries for short positions. Okay, based on the 15-minute chart, you can see that this entire movement from this checkmate pattern right here that you saw earlier, right, this sideways movement, this took off, but it retraced almost the entire movement back down. This is typically not a good sign that there's any sort of strong bullish sentiment out in the market. It's really a sign of all bounces upward should be sold as in shorted. Okay, and I've been saying this for a little while that I still do believe that bounces up should be shorted, but if I don't get an optimal opportunity or I don't get the technicals telling me that this is a good place for an entry for a short, I'm not going to enter a short just because I think it's going to go down. The point of technicals and the point of trading is to be able to mitigate your risk as much as you can by getting good entries in the market for your position. All right. So if I'm shorting right here, right, my ceiling for my stop is probably somewhere in this area or probably up here, $8,400 or so. And my target for now is this down here. So you can see the risk to reward is just not there for me to short just yet, right? So if I'm shorting right there, okay, my stop is going to be up here probably above this wick. My target is right there. So I want you to look at the ratio. It's 0.59. That's a terrible ratio to be taking this trade, right? However, if I get an open position and I average in somewhere around here, then my stop is somewhere around here, and then my target is down here, right? Now look at my risk to reward ratio, 2.37. So what I'm really looking for is a retracement back up at least to 83.40, 83.50, and that's where I'll start to get back into my short position. Okay, because that sort of gives me a better opportunity in terms of risk to reward ratios like I just showed you. All right, so scope those out if you do get an opportunity. Again, in our advantage community, I walk people through exactly what I'm doing every single day. You can see sometimes I get stopped out, but sometimes we make some good money too. As you can see, gain right there, let's see, gain right there. So we have winners, right? But we also have losers. I don't want to talk about the fact that I'm always winning trades. I want to show you guys my losers as well. So I want you to judge me on my losers too. Okay, so going back to the 1 hour chart, we've basically come back to this red block right here, which has been a good amount of, I guess, support and resistance area, like reactionary zone. I'm gonna delete this. This is getting annoying. This red block right here is the reactionary zone, and you can see price really does react every time it touches it. Resistance, breaks through, uses that support, breaks through higher, and now it's just hovering on support. More than likely, I think this zone is going to crack, but the bears are really defending it strongly, as you can see. Or I'm sorry, the bulls are defending it strongly, as you can see. In the 4 hour trading range from this high, about $8,800 down to about $7,700. It's a big trading range, right? And you can see that same red block correlates with this area, which is support, resistance, bust through, uses that support, and now price is coming back down to it again. So if you really want to be safe, I would say you wait for a 4 hour candle closing under this white EQ. So I'd say anywhere around $8,210, $8,200. A 4 hour candle closing under that is a better shorting opportunity. Okay. Let's see how the RSI looks. I mean, I've drawn these multiple fanned trend lines on the RSI. I'm expecting actually this one right here to be hit. Okay, why? Because this one comes from this touch to this touch. This is really the touch that propelled us right here. So I'm expecting all of that to be basically retraced by RSI coming back to this trend line, and we'll see then if it bounces off again harder or if it creates a weak bounce, kind of like like a piddly bounce like this, and then breaks through. If that does happen, I might even short that weak bounce on the RSI. Okay, let's see how the daily chart looks. The daily is again doing its best to sort of penetrate this level where this marker right here, the white 82.18, 82.20 got broken with this candle, and these two candles have been doing their best to sort of stay above this area right here. So if you're looking on a daily time frame to short, I would say wait for the break of this 82.18 area to be broken with a daily candle. All right, so once a daily closes under that, that's another better shorting opportunity. Okay, RSI still kind of pretty much oversold. I mean, I guess it's finally getting into the neutral territory now, not as oversold as before, so that's a good sign. Okay, I want to show you guys ETH BTC because this is something that I noticed a little while back that it's actually, in a very particularly interesting spot. Okay, both the ETH BTC and the ETH US dollar, right? So ETH BTC is actually hitting resistance, while ETH US dollar is actually hitting support. Okay, I can maybe pull that up over here if I can. All right, here's the ETH US dollar. Okay. Actually, no, it's not really hitting support. It already bounced off support. Now it's coming to a retracement back to this previous swing low and then push up. So technically, ETH US dollar is coming into some resistance, but it's been bouncing off of this strong support. So what this tells me is, personally, that ETH US dollar right now might be a better opportunity for scalping some longs, right, than ETH BTC. Okay, but when both ETH BTC and ETH US dollar were hitting resistance, that's the area where you want to be able to short. And I stated, last week or 2 weeks ago that this was the area that you guys wanted to short. I took in some scalps from 180 to 195. I missed the rest of the run up, but I stated that this was the area that you wanted to short because you were running into the weekly resistance, which is this right here. Okay, that was your weekly resistance right there. Okay, with this candle right here, which was a previous sideways movement before a big capitulation. All right, so this is really where we are right now. Okay, now if this breaks right here on ETH US dollar, okay, you can see how on the weekly, you're kind of just grinding on support right now. If the 170 marker breaks on the ETH US dollar chart and the candle closes under that, I think more than likely we're going to go down to 130 or 140. Okay, and it's going to be a pretty sharp and fast drop. I don't think anyone's going to be able to catch that very fast, because I think for that to happen, that means Bitcoin has to drop aggressively too. And like I showed you guys yesterday, that Bitcoin is in a very particular spot with the Bitcoin dominance level right here. You can see that this support right here has been broken. Okay, it broke, came back up, and then it broke again. Now it's using it as resistance right here, which is the 70.24% level, right? So if that's being used as resistance, more than likely we're going to go down further. The next sort of support is probably way down here, which is 66%, okay, down here, all right, 66.5. So keep that in mind. If we do fall, that's a pretty sharp drop, and I expect price to drop a decent amount, probably back towards 7.7 or maybe I don't know, 7,000 flat, somewhere around that area. Okay, and I am one of those people who does believe that Bitcoin dominance does correlate the price. So I don't know if you're going to convince me otherwise. SPX, I wanted to go over this again. This is another thing that I've mentioned before. Okay, the S&P 500 chart right here, again, struggling, now breaking down under this trend line right here. Okay, this is not a good sign. All right, for the S&P 500, yesterday was a big bloodbath of selling, right? If we don't reclaim, if the bulls don't reclaim this area right here in this broken trend line today itself, that means we could go down even lower, which is probably down here about 2,750 points. Okay, I mean, this support right here is already going to start cracking because this candle is going to start coming down. The follow-up one will probably hold, I don't know, probably till tomorrow, and then the next week we might start seeing a bloodbath. Like I said, October is typically a bloody month. Please go watch our interview with Austin, the amazing former Citigroup hedge fund manager, our stock market analyst, Faisal. He actually did a really great interview with him, and it's available on Cryptosomniac YouTube. Please go watch that if you want to learn about how the macro, equities markets are doing, what the former hedge fund manager is looking at for stocks, what he thinks about the economy now, in a year down from now, etc. All right. Another thing that I look at in the stock market, which are some of the more defensive stocks, the defensive sector, is the XLI, which is the industrial sector, right? This is really the sector that sort of defines what's happening in the market too, because the industrial sector is a bit more conservative. All right, it's not like the tech sector or the software sector. It's really sort of a a last line of defense sector where if shit really hits the fan in this sector, then things are going to get worse. Okay, so since 2018, I wanted to show you guys this. Okay, the ceiling for the industrial sector has already been set since 2018. All right, the top was about 80 points. You could see every time price has not been able to come up higher. Technically, this is really just a slight lower high as per this one, and now the sell-off has started. I would probably say once this area breaks right here around 71, 72 points, the sell-off was gonna go all the way down to 60 points. Okay. Again, not investment advice. I just wanted to show you guys exactly the things that I look at in the stock market, and how I am judging what's happening in, whether it's the impeachment inquiries into our president, whether the S&P 500 hitting that 3,000 ceiling and unable to break past it, the XLI, which is the industrial index, like I just showed you. So these are all things that you want to keep in mind when looking at the macro factors of the American economy. And the reason I look at the American economy is, one, it's the biggest economy and has the most impact on the world. And number two, Bitcoin has the highest volume coming in from the US. Okay. And that's, not even questionable. And now that we've gotten backed involved in CBOE and CME, well, CBOE stopped, but CME is still involved. All these instruments and these bigger organizations are going to react to Bitcoin in the same way they're going to react to how the S&P 500 is doing, how the general stock market and the economy is doing. So more than likely, what's going to impact the stock market is going to also impact Bitcoin, in my opinion. Okay, I don't think Bitcoin is going to be immune to something like that, because Bitcoin has also never faced a recessionary environment, which is something that the American economy is supposedly soon going to face. At least that's what I think, and many other experts think too. Again, we have a big stock market channel, right? And our equities analyst Faisal gives daily updates every single day about his positions, his thoughts on the stock market, how things are looking as per his viewpoint. And you get to see exactly how people trade and how the crypto market and our stock market channel, we sort of coordinate information, figure out where the rest of the markets are going. So I think it's a really sort of great learning experience for those of you who want to learn, the broader picture. Okay. The weekly chart, again, doing its best to bounce off the monthly and the weekly pivot. All right. I think, I want to check out something here. Okay. Where's the yearly pivot? I want to see if there's a yearly chart. No, there's not, I guess. Yeah, there's not. Anyway, the yearly pivot, I remember last time I looked at a chart, the yearly pivot is somewhere around down here as well. It's about 8,000 flat, or I think it's $8,100. That's the last I looked at it. It was a little while back. But anyway, I think that's interesting too, because, we're currently just bouncing off that right now. So sort of breaking under that is going to be really bad, and we're also obviously sitting on the monthly and the weekly pivot right now too. Okay, so just a couple things to keep in mind, in this sort of market. Okay, all right, thank you so much for watching, folks. Hope you enjoyed my analysis. Come join Cryptosomniac.com. Hit the Advantage membership page, and you can join all these locked channels with us, trade with us, learn with us, and grow with us. All right, take care. Cheers.